everybody, my name is Chef Tito, and welcome back to my cooking channel. For today, we're making something called Tostones, which is basically fried mashed plantain, also known as Platanos. I know you guys have probably seen my other videos, and you see a lot of this in my videos. I kind of overdo it, I try not to, but I have a serious addiction with Tostones because they're just so good. They go great with a lot of dishes that I make. Being in a Puerto Rican household, we cook this with everything. So with that said, I'm not gonna do too much talking. We're gonna get right into this video. But before I do, I want to ask everybody to do me a huge favor. Subscribe to my channel, drop me a like, a comment, and of course, go to my Instagram page at Chef Tito and give me a follow. With that said, let's get into this.
Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is take our knife and we're gonna cut the ends off of our plantains. And I didn't mention this before, but when you're actually buying these at the store, make sure that you guys are not buying cooking bananas and you're actually getting the green ripe plantains. They are very different and they will not come out the same. So what we're gonna do now is take our knife and we're gonna run it down the middle of our plantain. Don't go too deep, just enough to get through that layer of skin. Also, if it's your first time doing this, be very careful because the skin is stubborn at times and you will cut yourself. So if you see what I'm doing now, I'm just taking my knife and I'm wedging it in there to separate the skin from the actual flesh of the plantain so I can pry it open. From there, you're gonna take your fingers and just kind of push it out, and you can take your thumb and scoop the actual skin away from the flesh of the plantain. And again, the skin on this can be a bit stubborn, especially for your first time. So don't worry if you can't remove all the skin at one time, just have a little patience. So I'm gonna do this one more time and the same exact thing. We're gonna take our knife, run it down the middle, and we're going to basically pry the outside of that skin away from the flesh of the plantain. Also, when removing this, sometimes you might get a bit of the flesh with the skin. Don't worry about it. We're gonna mash these, and once we do, that's not gonna be an issue at all. Just try your best to get the skin and the skin only, but it happens to the best of us. So we're gonna just take our thumb again, and we're gonna run it down the skin and remove everything away from the flesh of the plantain. Also, here's a tip for you guys. If you're struggling to remove the skin from your plantains, you can actually take the plantains and run them under warm water for about 10 minutes, and that'll actually help loosen the skin when it comes to peeling your plantains. From here, I'm taking my knife and I'm going to cut these about 1 inch thick. Now, it's preference if you want to cut them straight or if you want to cut them at a diagonal. I like to cut mine straight, but it doesn't matter. So right now what I'm doing is taking my plantains and setting them inside of some water for about 10 minutes to soak. This is optional, you don't have to do this step. My family has always taught me growing up to put my plantains inside of water for about 10 minutes and then also add some salt to it. So I'll just add a little bit of salt to the water of my plantains and set it aside for about 10 minutes. And then once it's done, we're gonna take our water and remove it from our plantains into our strainer. You also wanna have some paper towels set aside because we're going to take our plantains now and dry them off in our paper towels. I'm doing this because if you don't, once it comes to frying, you're going to have a lot of splashing in the oil. Remember, water and oil does not mix. So make sure you try and dry these off as best as you can if you're going to use that step to set them in the water. Okay, so our plantains are ready to be fried, and right now I have my stove set to a medium-low flame. Make sure that your stove is also set to a medium-low flame and not too high because the oil will get too hot, and what's going to happen is your plantains are going to cook too fast on the outside without the inside having a chance to cook all the way through. So what you want to do is cook this in your oil for about 5 minutes or until golden brown, which is what you see here. Once they're golden brown, you want to take the plantains out of your oil and set them aside on a paper towel for them to drain. Okay, so when it comes to smashing our plantains, there's multiple ways that you can go about doing this. And my favorite way, believe it or not, is to use a can. However, you can also use a glass bowl, or you could even use a cup. For now, we're going to use the bowl and we're going to press down on our plantains. We're going to give it a quick turn to make sure that the plantain isn't stuck to the bowl, and then lift up and put it to the side. You can also use a can, which is my favorite method, and the same principle. You're going to press down on it, give it a turn to make sure that the plantain isn't stuck, lift up, and then set it aside. Now, I do want to mention that even though you all see me using a glass bowl and a can to mash my plantains, there is something else out there that you could use to mash your plantains, which is something called a tostonera. Now, a tostonera is something that typically is found in most Puerto Rican homes, and we use that to mash our plantains. So if you want to use that method, you can go to any of your local Latin grocery stores and pick that up for super cheap. Okay, so now that our plantains are all mashed up, what we're gonna do now is throw these back in our oil one final time to fry. And the reason that we're doing this is to make sure that our plantains are all cooked through on the inside, and also it's gonna give it that great crunch that tostones have. So make sure that your oil is set on a medium heat, and you're going to cook these for another 1 to 2 minutes max. Basically, you'll see that golden brown color again, and once you get that, you're going to take your tostones out and set them aside on a paper towel to drain that oil one more time and get them ready to be served. Okay, so now that our tostones are ready to go, what we're going to do is plate this, and I like to personally put a little bit of pink Himalayan salt over the top of these. I like to use pink Himalayan salt only because I think it's just a bit healthier over regular salt. Also, if you want, you can use some parsley and sprinkle that over as well. You can even actually use a little bit of cilantro, which gives it a very, very nice look. And you can enjoy these with some KetchoMayo sauce, or you can enjoy it with some garlic sauce, which is personally my favorite. If you're not sure on how to make either one of those, let me know and I'll make a video for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel. You can also give me a like and head over to my Instagram page at Chef Appetizer and give me a follow. Until next time guys, buen provecho and enjoy.